Ladies and gentlemen, there is a drought running across 14 states in the U.S. So, look, we are in the times when you can damn near expect anything to happen. So, this came out in Newsweek October 4th, 2019. Flash drought has spread to 14 states across southern U.S., affecting crops and water supplies. Boy, I tell you what, if it's not one thing, it's another when it comes down to farming in this country. First, we had a pretty treacherous winter, and then the snow melted to water and floods started to happen. Now there's a drought. So it just goes from one extreme to the next, but it's definitely impacting farming. A flash drought is affecting 14 southern states as warmer than normal temperatures dominate the eastern two-thirds of the country, according to scientists. The U.S. Drought Monitor has released its weekly report, which reveals that currently nearly 20% of the lower 48 states are experiencing drought conditions. The Associated Press reported extreme drought conditions are affecting several areas, including parts of Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, and the Florida Panhandle, the report shows. According to Brian Fuchs, a climatologist at the National Drought Mitigation Center in Nebraska, the drought developed rapidly in September due to a mixture of low rainfall and record heat in southern portions of the country. Flash droughts can develop rapidly in the space of just a few weeks or months rather than years, with significant implications for agriculture, water supplies, and the development of wildfires. Typically, we look at drought as being a low onset, slow developing type phenomenon compared to other disasters that rapidly happen. So, this flash drought term came out, Fuchs told the Associated Press. The idea is that it's more of a rapidly developing drought situation compared to what we typically see. The flash drought has been putting stress on agricultural crops, including cotton in Alabama, peanuts in Georgia, and tobacco in Virginia, according to Fuchs. Meanwhile, Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant said the dry conditions had led to a rise in wildfires in the state. In response, Mississippi has temporarily banned outdoor burning, joining several other states such as Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, and West Virginia, which have done the same. Water supplies are also being affected in some areas. For example, levels have dropped at Lake Lanier in Georgia, which provides much of the drinking water for the city of Atlanta. The report notes that very dry conditions dominated regions in the southern plains, southern Midwest, and along most of the East Coast. In the southern East, for example, temperatures over the past week were generally 9 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, with many areas remaining dry. Most of the region was dry, with only small isolated pockets of observed precipitation. The drought report said many areas in their warmest and driest September on record, accelerating the drought conditions in the region, with dryness going back 8 to 10 weeks now with associated high temperatures in areas from Virginia south into northern Florida. Degradation was spread wide, with new areas of severe and extreme drought added. Outside of coastal areas impacted by the recent tropical weather, almost the entire region is abnormally dry or worse, with many areas seeing multiple classes of degradation over the last several weeks. New areas of extreme drought were added to Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. The report states. Interesting. Well, flash drought is definitely a new term I've never heard before. Temperatures were also 9 to 12 degrees above normal in the southern portions of the Midwest over the past week. Severe drought was expanded widely over Kentucky this week, with a new area of extreme drought over eastern Kentucky, the report read. Most all the rest of Kentucky was downgraded to moderate drought, while areas of southern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio had moderate drought and abnormally dry conditions expand. Abnormally dry conditions were also expanded to cover much of southeast Missouri. Meanwhile, in the South and High Plain regions, abnormally dry conditions expanded over southeast Colorado in response to recent dry weather, while several new areas of extreme drought appeared in central and eastern Texas. Drought also expanded in portions of southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and all of Mississippi. Scientists say the climate change is disrupting the environmental system, which are responsible for precipitation, leading to more droughts, flash droughts, and heavy rainfall in the country. What we know is that the so-called hydraulical cycle, how water in its various form moves through the climate system, is amplified under climate change, specifically warming. Okay, so yes, we are looking at unusual weather, unusual conditions, and we are seeing extreme drought in the US. So this picture is showing you what they are calling a flash drought. And they're saying this is in large portions of 14 states in the US. This is the kind of drought they're talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me what you think. I mean, we have seen, I think, every possible extreme weather you could that you could see at this point. I mean, wow. So this is going to be even more devastating in farming and in areas that already been heavily devastated just this year alone. So if this thing gets much worse, then you are looking at more locations where farming may be a huge problem, and trying to grow crops is going to be a huge problem in certain areas. And I had another article that I was reading through this morning where streams and rivers across the country are drying up. And many of the farmers depend on streams and rivers to water their crop. And if they're drying up, they're going to have a huge problem. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen, about this article on flash drought. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. And let me know if you're in one of these states in the comment section where you are experiencing a drought. So it said 14 states, but it did not list all 14 states in the Southeast. But you will know if you didn't see a lot of rain that you are probably in a drought. Peace, family.